Parramatta Eels announcing that Blaize Talagi, well, not so much the Parramatta Eels, but his management telling the Parramatta Eels that Blaize Talagi is leaving the club at season's end and most likely will join the Penrith Panthers, Gordy.
Well, it's good news for the Panthers. I always thought that he wanted to play fullback and Gutherson was going to move. He's a young talent. We watched him make his debut against Manly. He ran over Tommy and scored, so he's a great young athlete, but he wanted to go to another club. I feel a bit sorry for Parra and Jason Rolls moving into that seat.
The sky's fallen in at Parramatta, Braith. It's a shocking case of mismanagement. They've been played off a break by Isaac Moses, player options, and they're the one club at the moment who seems to have really gone down this road. And it's not just Blaize Talagi, it's also Mitchell Moses, it's also Will Penasini. They're all big name and superstar players in their back line. But for whatever reason, they've allowed them to put these clauses in their contracts and it's bitten Parramatta where it hurts.
Well, we've been saying for a while that they can't let him go. They just can't let this young gun whiz kid go. He's got so much potential, but he's been agitating for months now, Mick. And we've been hearing that Isaac Moses had been talking to other clubs. Newcastle were interested at one point. The Dragons have been interested as well. But I don't think any of us thought this was going to happen or so quick, but it has.
Yeah, he'll join Penrith next year for 3 years. It's a 3-year deal from next season, and the reason the Panthers haven't released anything yet is the fact that the Eels haven't waived the 10-day cooling-off period. So the Eels obviously put out a statement to make it clear that Blaize won't be at the club next year, but they haven't, which indicates some bad blood, obviously, there between the parties, haven't waived the 10-day cooling-off period, so don't expect anything formal from the Panthers until then. They might come out and say yes, but it's in that period. But he'll be there for the next 3 years. But you're right, the Dolphins were the other side that was circling him as well. So the Dolphins, the Dragons, the Panthers, and obviously Parramatta were keen to keep him. Parramatta wanted him, make no doubt about it. Yeah, yeah. They offered him the fullback position, and I think Blaize was probably a little bit reluctant to walk in and take over from Clint Gutherson and push Clint Gutherson to one side.
Why did Blaize leave and why did his agent want him out of the club? And also, can you explain to the viewers the clauses and how this come about?
Genius play from the Panthers to begin with. For them to see that Blaize clearly was unsettled and unhappy at Parramatta, do their homework, do their due diligence. I think in all likelihood it'll be a package deal. They'll sign his younger brother Ryder, who's recently been picked in the Australian Schoolboys.
Do we know why he was so unhappy? Can we just get...
I'll tell you. So Parramatta, right, in their wisdom, in recent times, since Sean McElduff's been the chairman and Jim Sarantinos has been the CEO, have decided that when they sit down and negotiate contracts, they let these options or clauses go into the contracts, which means that when it comes to a set season, in Blaize's case, it's this year, 2024. Well, he has until round 10 or round 11 to take up an option for next year, or if he doesn't, well, he's free to go. Now, why you would do that when you've got a local young gun junior, he was part of their SG Ball premiership winning side last year. They've now lost their 3 best local juniors from the SG Ball premiership winning team of last year. They're all spine players.
That's a disgrace.
And they're all going elsewhere next year.
That's a disgrace. Like, I mean, I don't have much to do with Parramatta. I don't know anyone out there. But they've got such a big breeding ground out there of young players. They win an SG Ball last year and they lose 3 of their spine from that SG Ball team. They can't contain or maintain those players at that club, and they put clauses in their contract to give them an option of... If I'm a Parramatta fan, I'm filthy.
And I'm not talking about weak clubs, but it's like weak leadership clubs always put the clauses in. Is there a chance that the NRL steps in and they don't register these sort of contracts?
I'd be surprised. Gordon, I understand where you're coming from and it's a very fair and valid point, but I don't think that they will. The managers certainly love these clauses because it allows them wiggle room to go and agitate. But yeah, 100% BA, like what's been laid bare for everyone to see in this case with Blaize Talagi is the lack of rugby league IQ at the absolute top of Parramatta. Make no mistake, the chairman and the CEO, who secretly went and met with Wayne Bennett, were never a chance of signing him, right? They have put a red pen through Parramatta's season. It's been a complete write-off because of their decisions. Imagine the morale, Gordon, amongst the playing group.
It's embarrassing.
At the moment, you got the best young kid leaving, right? Other blokes are getting tapped on the
And all
shoulder.
the old blokes' experience have been tapped on the shoulder.
I think they've won one game since Brad Arthur was sacked.
And it's obviously a blow to Jason Rolls, right? Jason Rolls' first big task was trying to keep Talagi. Obviously, negotiations were advanced by the time he came into the role, but he's met with the kid. He has obviously offered him the potential to play fullback, and he's not.
I know you make a good point, right? But I can't see this being Jason's
No,
fault.
I'm not saying it's
just about to say
I was not putting the
No, I know you weren't.
I wasn't putting the blame on him.
I'm just sticking up for him because we've been talking about this for months.
No doubt.
So, we know what Isaac Moses is like as an agent, and he's been working on this for a long time. This deal's been done,
Well, you don't agitate.
or he was going a long time ago, well before Rolls.
When you get those clauses, you got you got the money here, and if it doesn't work out, you stay there.
Don't
And
blame.
you agitate, but mate, there must have been a deal.
It's unfair to blame Jason Riles. Jack Gibson always said that winning starts in the front office. He was bang on, right? And Jack won 3 premierships with the Eels. If you look at the way that they're doing things and the fact that, I'll tell you what, this is only the beginning of how bad it could get at Parramatta. Mitchell Moses has got a clause. I think he'll be gone. I can't see. He's 30 in September, right? He's managed by the same bloke as Blaize Talagi. He's managed by.
Hang on. So you're saying that this could happen to Parramatta and their fans in another year or two because Moses has the same similar clause.
Mitchell's got the same clause. Let's talk next year. Next year, Dylan Brown's got the same clause, and so's Will Penasini.
And Penasini as well.
Will Penasini as well.
So when they go most likely terrible next year, and that's no disrespect to Rolls because I feel sorry for him what he's walking into here, but they've gone ordinary this year. They're losing key players again. Talagi, one of them. Moses then plays next year, wins Origin Series, and he starts thinking, well, hang on, my time's running out. I want to win a premiership. I've got this clause. Let's execute it. The Bulldogs need a 7. Broncos may need a 7. Who knows? A club in a strong position with strong board members who can potentially win a club, and we're going to be doing this same conversation about one of the best players in the game.
100% bang on. And this is where you've got to tip your hat to the Panthers. The way that they have set the club up, we know how successful they are on the field, but they're now the benchmark off the field. For them to identify that, they know that Jerome Luai's leaving at the end of the season. We all thought that in all likelihood it'd be Jack Cole, but they go and see Blaize Talagi. They do their homework. He came through as a fullback and a 5'8". It's a genius play from Penrith, and it just underlines, and it would be horrible for Parramatta members and fans to have to stomach that their bitter arch rivals, Parramatta used to be the kings of the West. Mate, right now, they're not even in the conversation. The Panthers are an absolute Goliath, and Parramatta are on the floor.
All right, a big carrot too. I was actually having lunch today with Joey Johns when the news come through, and we had a conversation about this. We're thinking, OK, Blaize Talagi, he's going to the Panthers, 5'8", partners with Nathan Cleary. That's a fair carrot for a young gun like Blaize, who has played in the halves, in the lower grades at Parramatta, to then join the best half in the competition at the best club in the competition. This could be a formidable combination.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you look at if he stayed at Parramatta, he's dethroned the king, and Clint Gutherson shifted him out, and the spotlight's on him. He goes to Penrith, he's playing with Dylan Edwards, he's playing with Isaiah, he's playing with Nathan Cleary. The spotlight's not on him, and he's only 19 years of age. So to get out of that spotlight, that furnace, and to go to Penrith and potentially play in the halves, look, it's not guaranteed that he's going to play in the halves, right? He'll either be at centre or halves next year, but there is a strong possibility that he passes.
But they had Cogger there at one point, and he made him look like an absolute superstar who isn't the quality of player of Blaize.
Grand final winner.
They've had who's the kid they've had this year fill in? So I've just lost
Schneider.
They've had
Schneider. Sullivan's
He
been
went
there.
to Super League, come back, made him look like a superstar.
In that system.
And you've got a young Australian schoolboy prodigy stepping in next to Nathan.
Who can play off the cuff like Jerome does. Like he sees and plays a little bit of ad-lib footy, because we know how structured Yo and Cleary are, and Jerome's always been that perfect forward to play off the cuff, off the back of that. But, once he gets out at Penrith, he won't know what's hit him in terms of the pre-season, working with those players and them upskilling him to become a seasoned NRL player.
No wonder Parramatta didn't give him the cooling off, have done the cooling off period, because...
Yeah, but why bother? Why bother?
I think
Because there's no way, right,
it's embarrassing
that he's
more
going
than
to
anything.
backflip.
No way he's
Yeah, well,
backflipping.
they're only subjecting themselves to further embarrassment.
Their arch
They're
enemy,
a laughing stock.
Their arch enemy and rivals have just got their best young kid.
Well, you never know.
on
Money
the club.
talks.
Nah, it wouldn't. Honestly, Gordon, I don't think it
doesn't talk?
matters. It does talk. It talks all languages. But in this case, you think about it, if you're a 19-year-old kid and you've just signed, Nathan Cleary's rung up and said, I want you to come and play in the halves alongside me or be in the 17, you're a chance of winning premierships, or you want to stay at Parramatta and the rebuild that they're currently in, they're in a race to the bottom with the West Tigers.
What do you think with all these clauses, the thoughts of the bottom 8 clubs at the moment? It looks like that they're feeder clubs. Seriously. No, well, it does.
Well,
I mean, it looks like that they're feeder clubs.
We look at Penrith's 2 key signings next year, Isaiah Papali'i from the West Tigers and Blaize Talagi, the 2 sides that are towards the bottom of the, at the bottom of the ladder. I don't think that it's fair to say that they're feeder sides for the top 8. They're Gordy.
Some of their fans would feel like it.
Well, some of them would, and we've seen with Penrith for the first time, they haven't entered the market at the top end for a long time. Right, we've seen obviously Fisher Harris leave, Taylor May not there, so that opened up that slot as well. They've lost a lot, and the money's there for them, and they've been very patient and landed 2 big fish.
And what it also explains, because we were questioning why Penrith hadn't gone for Stefano. Maybe they had prioritised this. They had this going on in the background, and that was the area they wanted. That's the player they wanted.
I think they spent not all of James Fisher-Harris's money, but a lot of Fisher-Harris's money on Papali'i with the belief that either Sorensen or Martin or one of those two can move into the middle. I think that's where they thought that squad would be better balanced than trying to find a like-for-like replacement for Fisher-Harris.
All right, good work from Penrith. They just keep making good decisions out west and are trumping, right, Bauer, the Parramatta Eels. Now,